Welcome to this live free training once again. It is a pleasure to have you with us. This is live right now. It is currently 2:09 p.m. San Diego time on Wednesday, the 19th of February. And in this session, I'm going to help you by giving away a ton of value up front just to put my best foot forward. So you may want to work with us at some point in the future. And I found the best way of doing that is just to provide value instead of talking about providing value. Okay, so thing number one is I'll be sharing a brand new breakthrough we've discovered over the last 6 months where we're going to be using AI to create your own online course for you. I'm going to be showing you exactly what we've been doing step by step by step. Thing number two is I'm not going to be sharing thinly veiled, vague content, which is actually a pitch disguised as content to get you to buy something. There is no AI software for sale at the end of this call or anything weird like that. I'm literally just here to help you with these three simple steps. And then if you do want to work with us at some point, you can do so. Okay. So no software for sale at the end. Also, as I mentioned, there will be a replay, but it would be towards the end of this week, like Friday sometime, because I may be doing another live session of this if there's enough interest. And also, that may not work out well for you in general because we do have a time-sensitive opportunity. Nothing really like a offer for sale here, but it's an opportunity at the end if you're interested, which is time-sensitive. So it makes sense that you pay attention right now. Now, if you do have any questions, final thing before we get started, I promise. If you have any questions, please leave them in the chat box. To prevent me from going back and forth between the content and the chat box throughout, I'll be leaving the questions until the very end, just to keep everything flowing smoothly. And let's face it, I'm probably going to answer your questions in the content anyway, right? So if you are leaving a question, please provide some sort of context, like when doing XYZ, should I blah blah blah, just so I'm not referring to that in the future and then thinking, what is this actually referring to? Anyway. Let's get started. So first, if you don't know me by now, if you haven't become familiar with me through my YouTube videos, social media content, social media stories, emails, you name it, I am James. I am James Francis. Welcome. I'm a world travel enthusiast. I love traveling across to Europe, where I'm from in England, now living in sunny San Diego, California, traveling a lot of America lately, which is great, and more as well. I'm a family man. I have a beautiful, amazing wife, Michelle, and a dog and a cat. No plans for kids yet, but that's just something which I really enjoy spending time with my wife and pet kids, so far at least. So I'm an extroverted introvert. Judging based on how I'm talking to you right now, you may think that I'm like this all the time. I'm just constantly off the rails. That is not the case. I am an extroverted introvert, which means that by nature, by default, I am an introvert. I like to, my own peace and quiet most of the time. But when I'm doing business stuff, I've taught myself to become extroverted, to be able to help people in the way they like to be helped. I'm also a restaurant lover as well. I love good food, especially like fancy steak restaurants, especially, but mostly just going out to restaurants makes me super happy, and usually with my wife as well. I'm an outdoors fanatic. I love spending time with nature and the beach, things like that. I'm an ice cream connoisseur as well, so I particularly love chocolate and truffle type of ice cream, chocolate truffle ice cream, but also Oreo milkshakes are my weakness. Oreo shakes, definitely hands down my favorite thing in this planet. Apart from my wife and pet kids, of course, right? Have to say that. I'm a multiple seven-figure online business owner with over $100 million in student success stories around the world. So I know that last one is a little bit different to the other things on this list. And I want to explain that in a bit more detail, just so you know I'm worth listening to. And you don't think I'm some random kid in a teenager's mom's basement and just doing this on my own, right? I have a whole company, been doing this since 2008, but sometimes some people are there nowadays, especially bragging about the $500 they've made and how you too can make $100,000. It's just total BS. And I want to share with you why that is not the case. So, in the very past here, I was working at that grocery store behind myself in that photo. This is actually a screenshot taken from a video on my YouTube channel, and I used to work at Morrison's in the UK when I was living over there, and grew up over there, of course. And I was making my micromanaging boss rich. I hated that job. I was stacking bread and cakes, and they would always be, on me all the time. Hey, do this, 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 and this. When there physically wasn't enough time to do all the things they wanted me to do, and it was so stressful and just I hated it, and so demeaning as well. Maybe you feel the same way. But I had a lot of anxiety from that and a lot of frustration around money because it was not a particularly high paying job, especially as I was a college student as well. So I wasn't really getting paid that much. And I felt like there had to be a better way. I was living for the weekend because I hated my life during the week, working full time at college, but also working a job in my spare time. I was basically fully booked with stuff that I didn't want to do. I felt a disconnect from where I wanted to be, and I had enough of other people controlling my life. I was constantly feeling unfulfilled, which led to exhaustion and burnout. I just didn't like my life and I wanted to do something about it. So I started Googling how to make money online and came across a whole bunch of different opportunities, which I tried and failed with for usually, often around a year or so is what I say. I can't remember. It's been over 18, well, 17 years now, which is a long time. But it was roughly about a year. And then I encountered something that changed everything. After trying a whole bunch of stuff that didn't work for me, which I'm sure you may be familiar with as well, I've discovered the world of online courses. Now, all I did was create an online course which helps people to achieve a desirable outcome. So it's not like, here's everything I know about this topic. It's how to get to a specific outcome. Okay, that's golden nugget number one before we get into the content itself. Now, just like helping a friend, this course would take them to that desirable outcome. Hey, James, I'm interested in doing this thing. How do I do it? And then I would say, well, step one is do this, step two is do this, step three is do this. And then by step four, you would have the outcome. And the online course follows the same principle. And then you just sell that over and over again. Right? You just sell that online course over and over again. And because it's all digital, you don't need to pay anything for inventory. You don't need to pay any manufacturing costs or anything like that you may have in other types of business models. Everything is digital, so you can create it once and you have basically very minimal overheads to sell that online course. Now, creating and selling my own online course, even though I wasn't an expert back then, of course, allowed me to first help an unlimited number of people at the same time without trading time or effort for money with one-on-ones, like consulting or something like that over Zoom, where I would be chatting with one person at a time. If you've done a similar thing, you will know how life draining they are to say the least, but also you can only do so much because you can only chat one on one with people at any one time. Typically the sessions last for like an hour or an hour and a half, and then you're left with no time left in your day to do anything you want, right? So it was not scalable at all, but online courses were. It allowed me to make sales passively every day, 24/7, 365 days a year, because they would sell whether I was asleep or awake. I didn't need to physically enroll people into that course. It was all done online passively with the automated system. Also, that meant I could be anywhere in the world. I wasn't tied to a specific location or office to be able to work. As long as I have a laptop or even my phone nowadays, right? And an internet connection, I was good. Now, since then, this allowed me to become financially free, and we typically make between 30 and 100K per month. And this helped my wife to become financially free as well. She was able to quit her job at Amex, which she hated, and now we just kind of work together. She takes care of the house, and I do other things as well, and we just help each other out, and it's a great thing. And she can follow some other passion projects as well. And I currently have a 1 to 3 hour work day, usually about 4 days per week. I love taking Fridays off to have a 3 day weekend most weeks, and that allows me to go for lunch to some amazing restaurants with my wife, Michelle. And we've traveled the world as well. We've been all over the world, including we've got a Europe trip coming up this summer. Previous years, we've been to like Cancun, most of Mexico, basically loads of places. I won't dwell into it, but we've been a lot of different places. I moved from the UK to Mexico City, hence the accent. Some people think I'm from New Zealand or Australia based on the accent, but no, it's from the UK. Specifically, I started out around Birmingham kind of way, and then I moved to London and lived there for a couple of years, then moved to Mexico City, and then to San Diego, where I am now. I've also helped thousands of customers and coaching clients to change their life for the better by creating and passively selling their own online course, totaling over $100 million in results. So I'm not just preaching something and not actually having the results to back it up. I'm sharing what's working in the right now, but also what has gotten people to their dream lifestyle, right? In the same way that I want you to get there as well. And here are just some of my results from a report I pulled from one of the recent years. This is monthly income with an 80 to 90% profit margin. Personally, I feel a bit icky sharing this stuff. Like, I don't like coming across like I'm bragging. It's just some people like to see these types of numbers so they know the person they're learning from is actually worth learning from and worth listening to. Okay, so there you go. Now, here are some student results as well. It's not just about me. Foti and Amelia converted 9 sales in the last 5 days. That's generated a profit of $14,000 for them. Jacob says that James and his products helped me make my first 6 figures online. Jason says, I'm at about 10K a month using what you helped me to develop. Belinda says, over the last 17 months, I've made sales revenue totaling $452,000. This week alone, I've sold $8,000 in core sales. And again, this is all based on what I'm teaching right now. In just a couple of months, I've amassed almost 1,200 customers and over $56,000 in sales, again, just in a couple of months. And June said he made, sorry, Todd said that in June he made $41,500 as well. But ultimately, it's not just about the money, it's about what that money can do for you. Personally, I love spending time with friends, family, my wife Michelle. I bought the Lamborghini. I think it's an obligatory Lamborghini when you become successful, right? I don't have it anymore because I sold it when I moved away from England to San Diego, but I now have the new Corvette, which is beautiful as well. And I just love being able to like take time out of work and just say, you know what, I'm not gonna work this afternoon. I'm just gonna go and enjoy time at the beach, or go for a movie with my wife Michelle, whatever. Which you will have seen on social media if you follow me on there. Now, the reason I'm sharing all this stuff with you is to give you some motivation to kick this off. I don't like bragging being from England. We typically are quite reserved, but can you imagine this for yourself and what kind of difference this would have on your life? Can you imagine waking up in the morning and having this as your life instead of where you are right now? And I'm guessing that's why you're attending this live session. And after all this, you may be thinking, well, that's great, James. I love what you're saying here, but I'm not an expert. And that's stopping me from creating my own online course. And it takes a lot of effort to create an online course. And I'm already exhausted, right? Exhausted from my day job, from the kids, from family, relationships, friends. Life is busy and hectic, right? And of course, courses take months to create sometimes. If you have a busy schedule, you don't make the time. Let's face it, if you procrastinate it a little bit and you prioritize other things in your life, you may not have the time to get that done, right? And this is why this session is so important because it probably feels like you're probably feeling a little stuck, right? You're missing something, being able to have that online course to be able to make a profit, but you can't do that step to be able to get to the result, right? There's this weird gap between where you are right now and where you want to be. And that gap in the middle is having an online course. And you're probably feeling a bit stuck because of that. There's no bridge over that gap. Well, the big stumbling block here, really, when you think about it, it comes down to this. How can I create a profitable online course without needing to be an expert, without having to invest a bunch of time and effort in doing so as well? How can I do it without spending weeks or even months doing this stuff and without being an expert? Well, that's what this session is going to be all about. That's what I'm going to help you with in this free training directly. It's now possible to create a full high value online course from scratch using AI. So this is not going to be something where it's horrible quality. I'm talking high value stuff your customers will not be able to tell the difference about. Okay. And how do I know this? Well, because my team and I have been doing this behind closed door for our clients inside our VIP Ultimate Done For You service for the last 6+ months. You will know me by now that I only share what we're currently doing that we know is proven to work. And this is exactly what we've been doing ourselves with myself and my team to be able to get these online courses created for our clients who need that extra help. Okay. And this means you can finally have your own profitable online course on any topic. This is not limited to like, oh, it only works for courses in the make money niche or in the health niche or something like that. It will apply to anything, right? Or multiple topics if you want to have multiple courses. It's totally your choice. And then you can sell these courses for daily passive income. And you also don't need to be an expert either or know anything about the topic whatsoever because the AI comes up with all of the content for you, which is awesome, right? So you also don't need to create any presentation slides like PowerPoint slides, which can often take a while as well if you are quite particular with what you put on there. You don't need to record any voiceovers, so you don't need to be sat in front of your laptop saying, "Hey everyone, welcome to this video. In this video, I'm going to help you to do XYZ. Let's get into it." So the first thing you need to do, and so on and so on. None of that whatsoever, which I'm sure you'd be pleased to hear. You also don't need to show your face as well, which you may be thinking about maybe now or moving forward as you get closer to this. You may be actually thinking, well, I don't really want to show my face. I'm a little bit shy, or I don't want people to know that I'm doing this for some reason. You don't need to do that with AI. And that's one of the things I love about it as well. You also don't need to record any videos yourself either. You don't need to be on camera like I'm speaking right now to you. You don't need to be on camera, okay? You also don't need to edit any videos because you're not recording any, which also saves you a whole bunch of time and effort as well, which can sometimes take a while when creating your online course because the latest AI tools create everything for you. And these are not like $1,000 tools. They're super inexpensive and often they have free trials so you can try this out for yourself as well, right? So it basically means you overcome that stumbling block immediately. But if you are thinking about this, here's what this is not. Okay, so you might have some hesitancies around this, like James, I don't want to screw people over. Well, this is not that. You are not going to be screwing people over by selling vague content which they could find on Google with no value whatsoever. I want to get that out of the way to begin with. This is not something where you are taking advantage of people and haha, we got them. They don't know it's created with AI. It's not that mentality. And if you're thinking about that mentality, like this is a way to take advantage of people or find a loophole, please leave. Don't have that mentality in business. It will not get you anywhere. You're basically a con person, right? Male or female. So please avoid that mentality that you need to take advantage of somebody, that somebody else is losing something to be able to make money. That's not the case. It should be a win-win. Okay. And that's not what we're going to be doing here. We're not going to be screwing people over. Also, this is not going to be using cheesy animated people. I'm sure you've seen them before, where the speech doesn't match up to their mouth, right? So you're talking, well, the avatar, the AI avatar is talking, and they're moving like this, like, "Hey everyone, welcome to this video." And meanwhile, their mouth is like doing 100 different things. That is not that, okay? Also, encyclopedia type content with no desirable outcome. It's just like a big list of everything. You just put a whole bunch of content on their desk and say, "Good luck." That's not an online course. That's just giving them a bunch of content with no purpose. An online course again should be specific to helping them achieve a desirable end result. Okay, so it needs to have a logical flow to the outcome. It also will not be impersonal, boring content like it's been written by a robot, which you may have experienced so far, especially if you're using basic AI tools like the basic versions of ChatGPT, for example. So you can actually create this in a way where it's interesting to people and it sounds as if the AI or the words on the page or in the video are written by a human. They're actually very realistic, okay? Also, this is not going to be duplicate content everyone else has access to, like PLR content, where you're just taking somebody else's product and selling it as your own. Meanwhile, 10,000 other people who have also purchased the rights to it are doing the same thing. And then it's like, well, how do I stand out in a market where we have like 10,000 or thousands of people selling the exact same product? And that's why you're not making sales, right? Because there's nothing different about it. With this, you can make it different to yourself. And also, finally, this is not going to be robotic sounding voiceovers where people can tell it's not a human. Like the early versions of Siri, when it's like, yes, I will definitely help you with that. It's so bad. Or Microsoft Sam, for those of you who remember this, like many, many decades ago when computers first came out. I remember in school we would play around with Microsoft Sam, we'd type something in and it would be this guy's voice and it sounded really robotic and everyone was like, wow, this is so amazing, right? Nowadays it sounds like it's an actual human, and I'm going to show you some samples later in this live training where you won't even be able to tell that it's human or not if I wouldn't have told you, of course, right? So look forward to that. Instead, your AI generated online course should be high quality, valuable, and indistinguishable from normal online courses, meaning people shouldn't be able to tell the difference. They're going to be buying your online course after it's been created by AI. Obviously, you're making the profit from that, and they're not going to tell the difference. They're not going to know it was created with AI because this has been done so well. Okay. Now, there are three main steps to achieve this. I want to walk you through each and every single step. You can do this yourself with nothing left out. Literally everything you need to do right here, right now. I do have a floating dog hair on my glasses somewhere that I can keep seeing in the corner of my vision. So while I clear this up, can you let me know if this is making sense in the chat so far? Okay. Hear you good. Audio is a problem at the user's end because the others can hear you, James. Yeah, fine. Perfect. I'm glad you can all still hear me okay. So let me know if you do have any questions. Of course, making sense, says Emma. Perfect, says Kevin. Everything is good, says Kevin. Awesome. Great, great, great. After the rocky start about people not hearing me and the chat box not working, I'm glad that this is continuing to work. Okay, so let's begin. Step one in this three-step process is to use AI to create word-for-word scripts. Okay, so the scripts are the very first thing you need to do. You don't start with the videos themselves, you don't start with a voiceover, you start with the scripts. Okay, and this is for your online course videos. Now, the value of an online course is established by the words inside it, right? So you could put as many fancy graphics on the screen as you want, but it's not going to help people see a transformation. The transformation happens for the customer when they are working towards that end goal. Right? So the words help people see epiphanies or aha moments that make them learn something, God forbid, right? And they learn how to move closer to their end goal. Right? You can show people tons of pictures of a piano, for example, but they're not going to learn anything unless you tell them what to do with the piano, how to play it, right? Or like show them how to play a song or show them how to read sheet music, for example. So it's the words that get the outcome. So that's why we start with that. Now, before we know which words to include, we need to structure the customer's journey in a way that leads them to their desired outcome. Okay, so again, it's not just about giving them a bunch of stuff and telling them to figure it out. You could do that with giving them a bunch of blog posts. That's not valuable. The value is in the step-by-step process, walking somebody through the process to get to a desired outcome. So basically, what will video one be about? And then video two, and then video three, and so on. You need to have that structured list or curriculum, we like to call it a curriculum, of what it's going to be in each video. Okay, so video one is going to be the introduction and overview. In this video, I'm going to tell you why you should listen to me, all the success our other students have seen, for example. Here's what you can expect when you achieve the end result, and here are some foundational mindset things you may need to know before getting started. Video one done. Video two would be blah, blah, blah. The first concept of what they need to know to get to the outcome. Video three, maybe, in the gardening niche, for example. Video one, maybe to, assess the soil. Video two, maybe to fertilize the soil. I don't know. I'm not a gardener, right? But then you go through a step-by-step process to having their dream garden. Fortunately, this can be done with the latest version of ChatGPT. Notice here, I'm not saying any version. I'm not saying the basic free version. I'm saying the latest version. The paid version of ChatGPT is so much more powerful than just the free version. The free version is good for basic stuff, but when you want to create something unique that sounds like it's created by a human, the latest paid version of ChatGPT is the best one. So the latest model, which is only on the paid plan, or you could use like I think you can use the paid plan for like 1 or 2 or 3 times a day or something minimal, but that's going to take you like 6 weeks to to be able to create all these scripts when we want to do this in a day. So the paid version is best. You simply ask it to structure a video-based curriculum for an online course which walks people through the steps to achieve their desired outcome. Okay. So, an example of this prompt, of course, the prompt itself is what we do for our clients, and that's, confidential information, it's proprietary information, right? But what you would structure it, you structure it in that way. So, create a video-based curriculum, structure for that video-based curriculum, which walks people through the steps to whatever the end goal is, to have their own dream garden from scratch, or to invest their way from their first $10 to their first million, or whatever, right? What is the outcome? And please structure that online course curriculum for me, video by video. Okay. So then, as a bonus tip, you can also provide the curriculums of your competitors' courses to ensure your course ends up being similar to what's already selling well. Notice here, I'm not saying copy other curriculums that are already doing well. That is just, property infringement, intellectual property infringement, right? You need to have something which is unique to you and also doesn't break the law. Okay, so you're putting that in and saying, hey, if you want some, for context, here is a great best-selling curriculum with the same outcome or a similar outcome. And then it will look at that and say, okay, I'll give you something different to that, but which follows the same principles. Okay. And that will massively shortcut that process of you having to create that curriculum for yourself. And of course, this can be used as a foundation. If you do want to add in some additional things into this and say in the prompt, please ensure to include XYZ, whatever those topics are, or the fact that, and then explain what you want it to include. Maybe you have an approach you love to use over something else, or maybe you've got some experiences you want to include in that curriculum as well. For example, you can tell it what to include and what not to include. So you can be very specific with this, which is awesome. Now we have a good curriculum or outline. After doing this, it will take you roughly 5 minutes, which is infinitely better than several days, like it usually would take you. Our next step is to create word for word scripts for all the videos in the outline. Now, usually we would have to do this ourselves, and it could often take, maybe around 2 weeks or so if you are creating word for word scripts. Sometimes people prefer to do this with PowerPoint slides instead, but word for word scripts is what some people do as well, which takes a long time. But recent advancements in AI have made it possible to ask ChatGPT to do it for us instead. So, as ChatGPT has a limited memory and word limit per reply, very important here, you will need to separate each video into its own chat. Okay. So, for each video, simply ask it to create the word for word script, providing context for the outcome of the video, any topics you would like it to include, if there is anything, otherwise you can give it free rein and say, go wild, come up with anything relevant, and anything else you feel is important in the final script. For example, to provide examples of points raised throughout, any historical experiences you may want to relate to, or any personal experiences, or anything like that, any action steps at the end of each video, and a whole lot more as well. You can say to it, please ensure to provide action steps at the end. Also include this experience right here. Type out the experience for it, and then it will take that on board in the content itself. It will reword everything to make it flow well. And anything else you feel is important to your content. You are creating something which is unique to you, and it's highly flexible in this way more so than the free version of ChatGPT. Okay. You may have seen something like this, and you may be thinking, well, James, how does this create a course? Well, hang tight, we're going to be covering the next two steps in a sec. But for now, does that make sense? So far we should have, after completing this first step, you will have an outline of the curriculum for your online course, along with a word for word script for each video. And again, you may be thinking, how do we turn these words into a video? That is the next step. But does that make sense so far? Like, we are literally just creating a structure based off of what's already working well. We're having the AI create that structure for us and then telling it, hey, you've already created the structure for me. Can you please write the word for word scripts for every single video in this structure? And you will need to do that one video per chat. Otherwise, if you try and do everything in the same chat, it will cut off after like 500 words, and each video will be roughly a minute long. So you don't want that. You want each video to be a minimum of 5 minutes. Otherwise, customers aren't going to find it valuable. So you need to make sure that you have that. Now, in terms of how long this should be, how many videos should there be in the structure? How many video scripts should there be? I like to aim for each video being roughly 5 minutes in length. And if you're not sure, you can copy and paste a script into just Google search like script to time calculator. You can just copy and paste the script into a calculator and it will tell you roughly based on a reading speed from here to here, how long it would take to read that script, saving you from timing it yourself, which is time consuming and boring. Um, and that will give you a rough indication. Now, you want to aim for a minimum of each video being 5 minutes or more. And I like to aim for a minimum of 20 videos. Okay, and that may sound like a lot, but believe me, 20 times five, that's like 100 minutes, which is an hour and 40 minutes or so, right? Some quick math there. So it's not actually that long. And that's why I say a minimum. The more content you can include in your online course, which is relevant to the outcome, the more specific the content will be, the more helpful it will be to your customers, your future customers who buy this course. But also, it means you can charge a higher price, which is what it's all about, right? You can charge $200 instead of seven, which is so worth putting in that little bit of extra time and effort getting this done for. Okay, but how do we turn these scripts into a video? Well, that brings us nicely onto step two, which is to use AI to create lifelike voiceovers for your online course video. So we've got the scripts. How do we turn those scripts into a voiceover where it's me or you reading the script, or like a voice in general, reading the script for the video? Okay. So the majority of the value in an online course comes from the voiceover, right? Of course, visuals are kind of important, but nowhere near as important as actually delivering the value to somebody with the voiceover, right? You're teaching them with your voice, delivering the advice and recommendations to the customer to achieve that desired specific end goal. Now, usually you would have to read the slides or a script yourself, like I'm doing right now, presenting this free training to you. I would, say the words on the slides, record it, edit it, and put it together into an online course, right? Then you would edit the audio recording into the videos, and it's just a bit of a time-consuming process. If you've done this before, you will know. But fortunately, new updates in AI technology can take care of this for you too. How incredible is that? And no, this is not done in ChatGPT, okay? Now, there are a lot of tools which can do this for you. There's tons of them, and we know because we have tried all of them. We have tested a lot of them, we've paid money for all of them, and we've found the best one. And the best one is resemble.ai. And if you know something about this, before you jump at me saying, oh, I found this to be better, hear me out and I'll show you why this is. It is the most human sounding with a few different scenarios, and I'll explain a bit more in a sec as well. Now, we are not sponsored by them. If you're wondering, this is not a recommendation for you to go ahead and buy it because I say so and I will get paid a commission. I'm not sponsored. I don't earn anything from this recommendation. Okay. It's just simply what we use right now for doing this ourselves for our clients. Okay, so simply copy and paste your scripts from the first step of this three-step process into this AI tool, and it will read the scripts for you into a voice of your choice. Okay, providing an audio file of the voiceover for each video. So you take the scripts and you say, hey, AI tool, read this. Okay, and it will read the script with a voice that you choose. This can be male, female, American voice, British voice, um, whatever, like any kind of accent. They have a bunch of them. Okay. Now, if you are catering to an American market, the American accents do typically resonate better with people and they do typically sound more professional. But if you do want to be true to your roots and you're not an American, then that is number one, there's an option for that for you to make that super realistic. But number two, you can choose something which is the closest match to your own voice. Okay. And I'll be delving into that in a bit more detail. I don't want to give too much away, but for now, one thing at a time, right? To avoid any overwhelm. So, to recap, we copy and paste those scripts into the AI tool. AI tool says, okay, James, I'm going to go ahead and read this now. Here's the audio file of me reading this script. And then you have these audio files, one per video. Okay, how awesome is that? Now, if you're wondering, here is an example. I'm going to go ahead and play this right now. You should be able to hear it through your speakers as normal as I'm speaking this. Okay, three, two, one.
Imagine you're at work, and suddenly an unexpected problem arises. Your heart races, and you feel a wave of stress washing over you. How do you handle it? Do you panic, or do you stay calm and figure out a solution? The difference between these reactions often comes down to emotional intelligence and resilience. Let's start with emotional intelligence, or EQ. EQ is your ability to recognize and manage your emotions, as well as the emotions of others. It's about understanding what you're feeling, why you're feeling it, and how to handle those emotions in a constructive way. This
So it could go on, right? And we had a chat message come in here. I'm so upset. My son kept interrupting me. Give us a replay. Yeah, for sure. Okay, so the replay might be coming on Friday, or a bit later than that. But anyway, could you all hear that? Now that is the one of the default voices. So again, you can change this voice to whatever you want. And you may think, well, James, that still sounds a little bit AI. But if I wasn't telling you this was AI, you probably wouldn't know, right? If you were listening to this in a like on the radio, or if you imagine it being a news anchor, news anchors often speak like this anyway, right? So that's like the worst outcome you could possibly have is something like that. Again, you can choose the gender, male, female. You can choose the accent they have, whether it's British, American, Australian, whatever, and depending on what you want to have as the avatar for your voiceover. Okay, but you might be thinking, well, James, what if I want to use my own voice for better branding? How do I clone my voice? How do I, read the script myself without reading the script myself? Well, there is an app for that, right? So if it will let me progress onto the next slide, there we go. When using the tool, you can either choose a preset natural sounding AI voice like the one I just showed you. Again, that's just one example of many. Or you can clone your own voice by recording a few samples it provides. And this will usually take roughly 10 to 15 minutes maximum. So it will say, please read these sentences into your microphone. And this could be on your phone. It could be if you have a microphone built into your laptop, if you have a dedicated microphone like one of these, for example, right? You talk and you read the sentences, you hit record, read the sentences directly on the web page. Nothing fancy, just hit record on the web page, read the sentence, hit stop. And every sentence you do, it will kind of figure out how you speak. And it will use its AI to determine how to say words in the future based on how you've said the words in the recordings. Pretty incredible, right? Mind blowing. How futuristic is that sounding? Now, you might think, well, James, that's not going to work, surely, right? I'm going to show you some examples of this in a sec as well. In fact, three of them. Now, by cloning your own voice, it will read anything you give it in your own voice as if you were reading it yourself, but without the several weeks of work. So you can copy and paste those same scripts for your videos into this tool. Again, resemble.ai, we're not sponsored, that's just what we're using. And it will give you an audio file of you reading those scripts for every single video. Incredible, right? As usual, it will provide the audio file for every video for you to use in the final step of this process, and more on that shortly. I'll be going through that as step three. Here are some examples of this in three different niches with different, male, female, whatever, different accents as well. So you can determine if this sounds good enough for you to use. Now, I want to preface this with the fact that all of these are AI voices. You may be surprised and try and imagine this like you're having a conversation with like the courses you bought in the past or somebody's natural voices. If I didn't tell you they were AI voices, would you know? Okay, let's go. So three, two, one. This is the first one for the self-development niche.
I've been on this journey of personal development for quite some time. And one crucial lesson I've learned is that we can't pour from an empty glass. It's like being a superhero without superpowers. You simply can't save the day if you're completely drained.
Okay. Could you tell if that was an AI voice or not? If somebody sent you that audio file, say, hey, I've just recorded a brand new part of a video. Probably not, right? Next one, the investing niche. Let's go.
For example, tech stocks like Apple and Microsoft are known for their high growth potential, but can be quite volatile. On the other hand, stocks in the consumer goods sector, like Procter and Gamble, tend to be more stable and provide steady dividends, making them less risky.
So this example was recorded with just a cell phone. This guy didn't have a good microphone, so you notice the difference in quality. Basically, whatever you put in will be whatever you get out. So if you are kind of boring, lifeless monotone with a bad microphone when you are recording the samples, you will get that out again to an extent. You can change it and edit it to be more lifelike and have more inflection in your voice and more speaking things in a better way, but it's never going to be as good as it would do if you were using a better quality microphone, like something you pick up on Amazon for like 30 bucks, for example, instead of just your cell phone. So the first guy, he used an actual microphone hooked up to his laptop, and hence the better sound quality. This guy used a lesser quality microphone, didn't have as much inflection in his voice, hence why it's kind of a bit more, level, I guess. Now, this is the final example I want to give you as well, and this one is for the productivity niche. Let's go.
This is crucial. Treat your time blocks as appointments that you can't miss. If something urgent comes up, adjust your schedule, but try to stick to your plan as closely as possible.
So again, very lifelike, as if the person had just recorded this themselves. This is an AI voice. We've simply given it some words, and then they've read the words with the person's voice, with the client's voice, right? How incredible. Is that what you expected? Let me know in the chat box if that's something you expected. And can you imagine doing that for yourself? And can you imagine how much time this would save you? Creating all these videos yourself. Pretty mind-blowing, right? So after completing the second step, you will have audio files of voiceovers for each video, delivering the value inside your online course. Okay, so it will give you video one's voiceover, video two's voiceover, video three's voiceover, and so on. And imagine you just copy and paste the script. How long does that take? Not very long, right? But how do we add visuals to these audios to turn them into the videos themselves? We don't just want to have the audio files or the scripts, we want to have a video. That's why online courses are video based, right? We need them to be videos, not audios. How do we do that? Well, first, let me go ahead and check the chat box. Yeah, so William says, can I use my voice? Yes, for sure. Yep, that's the whole thing. We just showed you some examples. You can use your own voice, which is incredible. Amir says, that's amazing. I totally agree. Robbie Cunningham says, yes, as well. Kevin says, that's much better sounding, Jay. So realistic. Exactly. I couldn't believe it when I first heard it. I was like, this is what's possible. Incredible. I think the last one was the best one. Again, yep, that's because the guy used a better quality microphone. And it makes a huge difference. If you just pick up something from Amazon for like 30 bucks, it's going to be so much better than using the built-in microphone on your laptop, for example, or your cell phone, where the quality could be okay, but nowhere near as good as a decent microphone. Fantastic, so cool, says Sal. Exactly. It's incredible, honestly. I couldn't believe it when I first heard it. And the technology is only getting better and better as well. So awesome. Now, step three in this process, the final step, is to use AI to create professional videos from those scripts and those audio files for your online course, turning everything into the videos themselves. Okay, it's the final step in the three-step process. So we're basically adding something to look at. Okay, so despite the value from an online course coming from the words in your voiceovers, your customers will still need something to look at while they're learning to keep themselves interested. Because it's not just about educating people and helping them, you need to entertain them slightly as well, right? To keep them interested, because I could be presenting this right now with a monotone voice. Welcome to this live stream. In this live stream, we are going to help you. Like, how boring would that be after like an hour, right? You can't really get excited about that. Whereas when you have something to look at, even if the voiceover is fairly boring, let's say, you you make it more entertaining for them to go through, okay? So how do we do that? Well, most course creators do this with presentation slides, like I'm doing right now on the screen, right? But what's an alternative to avoid creating all those slides by yourself? Now, we have tried a bunch of different ways to do this, ranging from using AI tools to create the slides for us, and that would lead to them missing the script altogether. They just go ham with some random facts they found from some research, and they would just totally ignore the script. And they'd come up with a whole bunch of graphs and all other kinds of things we didn't ask for, which was really frustrating, especially as we paid money for that service, right? So we did not like that. We also tried using auto-generated avatars like Synthesia, which you may have heard before, and this is just way too weird. Again, it's just the audio doesn't match up to their lips properly. It's like really boring to look at as well. It's just a person standing with a empty background or like a static background, and it's kind of really obvious that it's AI, number one, but number two, it's just so different to what most people expect when they buy an online course that people feel a bit jarred by it. Like it's like, oh, this isn't what I expected. And it's a negative impression right off the bat. So we try to avoid that as well. We tried everything in between as well. I think we tried over 5 different ways to do this. But here's what worked best for us, and hopefully this saves you doing the same trial and error, right? Using Pictory.ai. Again, if you want to write that down, feel free to use it. We're not sponsored. It's just literally what we've found to be working the best. We follow a simple process for each video. Step one is to create each video from the script, not the audio, because it gives you a couple of options. It will say, do you want to create a new video based off a script, off the audio, whatever else? We give it the script first, forgetting we even have the audio. Okay, then we do this because it will have subtitles in the video of the exact words in the script. So this is really important you start with the scripts, not the audio. Then you let its AI compile a whole bunch of relevant stock videos to fit each sentence in the script. So, for example, let's say a script is talking about accounting in a sentence. Then the stock video clip in the video it would choose would be something like an accountant typing or using a calculator with some forms next to them or something like that, for example. And it would do this for every single sentence in the script. So there's always a relevant video clip being played in the background while listening to your voiceover, and the subtitles are on the screen as well if people can't hear your voiceover for some reason or just something to look at and read as they go, you know? Number three is to add subtitles with the script for every stock video. It will do this automatically for you, which is awesome. The next one is to upload the voiceover video. So we pair this with the script. So that's actually the next step. I'm jumping ahead here, but you upload the voiceover video. So then you have the script, you have the videos matching the script, and you have the voiceover as well. So it's kind of like 3 different ways that they're engaging with that video. Then we click the one button that auto syncs the voiceover video to the stock videos. Sorry, the voiceover audio to the stock videos that should read. So everything is aligned and matches perfectly. So the voiceover will match the sentences and the subtitles, the videos, everything. It will basically stretch out the video clips or, shorten them down to match the pace of the voiceover audio. Okay. Everything will match perfectly as if a human made it. And once done, you hit export and you've got the video file as you bang on the desk. And so you hit export, it will give you a video file, which you can then follow the next step. You can feel free to upload that to any online course platform of your choice. We personally love Thinkific, and you can start selling it as of right away. So you don't need to do anything fancy with that. It's literally just export and upload the video like that. So here's an example of this in action. Again, I'm going to play this to you. This is just a short clip from one of many videos in a course, so you can see how it would sound with your own voice if you were to clone it instead of using a default voice, and also how it looks. This is the end result if you were to do this, okay?
Even just 5 minutes of daily meditation can have profound effects on your overall well-being. Studies have shown that regular meditation reduces stress, anxiety, and even symptoms of depression. It's like a mental gym workout, strengthening your mind's resilience and ability to handle life's challenges.
How awesome is that? Again, this is an AI voice, not a human voice. Well, technically the human recorded their voice in the first place to clone it, but it's the AI reading the script in that person's voice. It automatically chose some video clips to match up to the sentences that was being spoken in the video in the script, and adjusted everything to match the audio voiceover as well. Right? Do you feel the same way? Well, let me know in the chat box. It's honestly incredible. And can you imagine how much time this would save you having to edit all this yourself? You click a button, it automatically generates all this stuff for you, and you're pretty much good to go, right? Incredible. So, in short, here, the solution is you have the scripts, you have the voiceovers, and then you have the videos. That's the three-step process. That's that's it. You generate the scripts, generate the voiceovers, and then you put both of those into the videos themselves, and you have a completed online course. But there is a problem here. Okay, if you're thinking, James, it can't be that simple. Well, you're kind of right, kind of half right. It is simple, but it's not that simple because it still isn't perfect. AI still isn't at the stage yet where it's totally perfect. You can click one button and everything is done. You still need to do a bit of work with this, right? So when creating your scripts, as an example here, most basic AI models don't have the intelligence to create something which sounds like it was written by a human. And again, this is what I mentioned before, if you're using the basic version, the free version of ChatGPT, where it says stuff like, let's embark on this journey together. Or like, imagine this, and then it gives you a scenario. It uses the same phrases over and over and over again for every single person's piece of content. And if you've ever seen "Let's embark on this journey" or something like that, you can pretty much guarantee it's written by AI, and it's a dead giveaway, right? So if you don't use the right prompts as well in the generating process of creating these scripts, you can end up with low value content your customers will hate you for. So, for example, you could be talking about weight loss, and let's imagine a video is about some recipes. It would say, when creating a perfect lunch, you want to make sure that a third of your plate is this, and then a third of your plate is that, and the other third is this, and then it won't give you any recipes. It'll just say that, and then the customer's left wondering, well, could you be more specific? Right? That's like, what the heck am I supposed to do with that? And that's the kind of vague content you could find on Google. And people don't pay you for that vague content, and it ends up having your customers dislike what they've purchased and having those regrets. You'll also nearly always end up with weird formatting despite trying to include your best formatting principles in the prompts themselves, which doesn't play well with your voiceovers. For example, numbered lists. When it gives you the scripts, it might say, here are 3 steps to achieve this thing it's talking about. And then it would have one, period, and then something else. But when you import that into Pictory AI and its video tool, it will create an entire slide just for the number one. Because there's a period there, it will think it's the end of the sentence. So you've got to find an additional stock video for just the number one. And there's only so many of them, right? And you can't do this with every single video in your course without repeating the same clips over and over again. And it feels weird when watching that video back, like one, and then you move on to another sentence. It feels weird. So you would have to go through and change the one period to like a one bracket, like a parentheses, one of them. Parenthesis. So also chunky paragraphs as well. If you have this big block of text in your ChatGPT script, or the script that ChatGPT creates for you, when you import this into Pictory AI, the whole video screen or slide or scene will have a massive chunk of text. So instead of there being like one sentence at the bottom of the screen, the whole screen will be filled with text. And the customer's thinking, oh, this is overwhelming to read. I'm not going to do all this. I can't even see the video behind it, right? So it just feels weird and it just makes a whole lot more effort as well. Now, this means you need to proofread and edit every script before you go on to the next step to prepare the scripts for the next step in the process. So it's not just a matter of generating the scripts and running with them. You have the scripts, then you need to go through every single word and phrase and make sure it sounds realistic and edit the formatting to make sure it plays well with the tools in the next step. Okay, and the one after that. And when creating your voiceovers, the same thing applies here as well. It will mispronunciate things, like words, for example, or phrases like Roth IRA when talking about investing stuff. It won't say Roth IRA, it will say Roth IRA, for example. So you need to like go through the whole thing and edit that so it makes sense and it pronounces things properly. And that will often involve adding a space between those acronyms so it does things phonetically instead of visually, like a normal sentence, right? It needs to do everything phonetically. Sometimes it won't add the S on the end of words that end with an S. For example, um, chair. It'll, if you say chairs in the script, it'll just say chair and it won't actually say the S. So you need to add some S sounds onto the end of that word manually, which can be a pain in the backside. Also, some awkward timing between sentences as well. For example, you would go straight into the next sentence without a space or a pause after the previous sentence. Natural speech is where you say a sentence, you pause, and then you start a new sentence, or you use commas to provide a good pace to the speech. But sometimes it can just skip ahead to the next sentence and it sounds unnatural. So you need to edit that in as well. Also, sometimes you can get weird audio glitches where it just totally forgets what day of the week it is, and it starts coming up with like weird sounds, like, and then it just skips a sentence or two, and then you're left wondering, what the heck was that? So you need to go in and fix that manually as well. Also, it can ignore words or sentences altogether. As I mentioned, it can skip sentences altogether and just go on with it. And this means you need to edit and regenerate every paragraph within Resemble to make them sound realistic and human. Now, sometimes it's okay. Sometimes you can hit play and the whole thing will sound okay up to a certain point, maybe for the first minute or so, and then it will be like a huge block of a huge part of the audio voiceover that's generated, which has a glitch, and then it mispronunciates something, and then you fix that pronunciation, and then you regenerate it, and then another part of that sentence is mispronounced after that. You need to fix that as well, and so on and so on. So this can be very time consuming to make it sound realistic and human. When also creating your videos as well, low quality stock video clips can happen as well, where you have pixelated clips that it chooses for you, animations which are not only pixelated but just amateur looking, like a white background and somebody drawing something on the screen which looks weird, like it shouldn't be in the video. It's just totally different to the rest of the clips. You need to fix those, replace them with a different clip manually. Also, sometimes it can choose irrelevant clips when it doesn't have the context for the video, the thing that you're talking about. Also, sometimes it can repeat the same clips throughout. For example, if you're talking about meditation a lot, it will choose the same guy sitting under a tree, closing his eyes, relaxing in nature, like 5 or 6 times throughout a 2 minute video because it just can't be bothered to find something different. So you have to go in manually and swap out those repeated clips to make it more interesting to people and make it more professional. And also, some auto-generated clips don't last long enough, so they loop several times before the end of the paragraph, right? So, for example, if a sentence takes 10 seconds to say, but the clip is only 3 seconds long, you would have the same clip of somebody walking into a room and saying hello to their wife or husband, for example, and then it would do the same thing 3 times in the same sentence, which looks a bit odd. I would much rather have a longer video clip of somebody doing a similar thing, but not repeating it. It just feels more professional that way, and the whole thing flows a lot better. Also, subtitles and clips don't match up to the audio properly. If you don't do this correctly, the subtitles would say one thing while the voiceover is saying something different, which can cause a disconnect. And this means that you need to go through every video clip and change them where necessary by hand to improve this professionalism. And guess what? There are over 80 clips per video. If you imagine how many sentences there are in these scripts for every single video, you need to go through every single clip for every single sentence and make sure that it's a good one. Make sure they've chosen the right one. So you can't just, hit go and then export it straight away. You need to do this manually still. And while it's not as much effort as it would be to create your own online course yourself, it's still work, which is kind of unnecessary and what we're trying to get away from, right? So at this point, you have two options. Option number one is to simply follow these 3 steps and spend roughly 200 plus hours adjusting and editing the scripts voiceovers, and videos to account for all the things which they cannot do right now themselves manually. Do this all manually. That's option number one. I don't know about you, but that sounds like it sucks, right? Option number two is to simply let us do all the work and create your own unique, high quality online course for you. Yes, you heard me. We'll create your online course for you. We'll do all of this work for you. Okay. Introducing our brand new done for you service, online course Fast Track. Okay, now we'll create your own high value online course for you. As I've just shown you, some of those examples were from previous courses we've created for other clients. So here is some more information about that if that's something you're interested in learning about. Now, your outcome from this will be that you will have your own professional high value online course, which allows you to generate over 10,000 US dollars per month or more in net profit in your spare time, or if you want to go even beyond that, to replace your 9 to 5. You'll also get the freedom to work or not work your own hours from anywhere. Imagine sales coming in of this online course being sold again and again and again. You don't need to be there manually selling this. You don't need to be there manually enrolling new clients. It's just happening overnight and happening anywhere you are. As long as it's online on the internet, you could be anywhere making these sales, right? Also, the ability to help hundreds or even thousands of people around the world at once in an automated, passive way. Instead of doing that time consuming one on one consulting or doing like manual freelance work for people, for example, where you can only work with so many people at one time. And the freedom to make sales without any time consuming one on one consulting or exhausting freelancing or agency work. And finally, the sheer joy to see notifications pop up on your phone daily, showing new sales you've made of this brand new online course passively, even when you aren't working. So, just reminding you of the outcome here, it's not just about having an online course, it's about having an online course to sell it for a profit passively every single minute of every single day. Okay. Now, here's what my team of experts and I will do for you if this is something you're interested in to make this happen for you. So it comes into three main stages, just like the steps that we went through in this session. So the first stage is the scripts. We'll create all those scripts for you, edit everything, and so on. Stage two is the voiceovers, and stage three is the videos. But let's start with what we'll do for you in the scripts. Because you think, James, surely I can just do this myself. I can just open up ChatGPT and hit submit and we're good to go. What do you actually do? Well, let's dive into this. We've already gone through how, the formatting is messed up. You need to proofread everything. You need to split up the paragraphs and so on and so on. And you need to use the right prompts to make sure it's actually human sounding and realistic instead of robotic, right? But as a summary here, we'll consult with you to choose the best course topic for you and your online venture to maximize your profit. So right now, if you have no idea what your online course would even be about, we'll consult with you, and in fact, it will be me personally, consult with you to figure out what that would be. What interests you have, what your future may hold for you, or what you would like to learn more about, or whatever, what you have an interest in, what results you've gotten in the past. I'll consult with you and figure out what this online course could be. And if you don't know, we can even look at what's working well right now, what's trending, and come up with something based off of that. We'll also gather helpful insights from you about any preferences or advice we can incorporate into your new online course. This means that we tailor everything to you. So this will not be a generic online course that anybody can create. It will feel like it's yours because you have input into what goes into this, including any experiences you want to mention, any beliefs that you have, any ways you like doing things, and so on and so on. If you don't have any of those, you just say, James, take it from here. That's okay as well. But we found that a lot of our clients want to make it feel like their own by introducing or injecting their own personality and experiences into the course. We'll also research your competitors to discover exactly what's already selling well right now to make sure that we're not just creating a course that nobody wants to buy, we'll create something that is compelling to your target audience. We'll also craft a compelling, unique methodology so your online course stands out from everything else already out there. So this is not going to be a Me Too course, which is exactly the same as what everyone else has already done. It's going to be tailored in a way that is unique to you and compelling to your target market. We'll also craft an irresistible name for your online course instead of it just being your online course or like how to XYZ. We're going to come up with a compelling name for it, and we are super good at this. Also, to create a proven curriculum for your online course. You know what I mentioned before? Mapping out what each video is going to include, what it's going to focus on, and how to get people to that desired outcome. We'll take care of all that for you. We'll take care of all of the word for word scripts for you using the latest enterprise level AI tools and not the basic stuff which doesn't work very well. We'll proofread, edit, and format all of your scripts done manually by our human team of professional editors rather than just using AI to fix AI, which never ends well. It's just two AIs talking to each other badly. We actually get our human team of editors to work on that for you as well. We'll review all of the scripts with you and make any changes until you are 100% happy with everything in this process and a whole lot more as well. So, in short, here, we're going to create all of your scripts for you. We're going to create the name for it. We're going to create the branding for it. We're going to create the compelling nature to make sure it's actually irresistible to your target market rather than just sitting there gathering dust and everything you can imagine. You literally need to do nothing here to create this the scripts for your online course, apart from, hey James, I want to include this, 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 and this, take it away. If you have nothing you want to include, it's just a matter of take it away. Okay, perfect. So we take care of all that for you. We also take care of all of your voiceovers for you as well. We'll first consult with you to choose a suitable preset AI voice versus cloning your own voice if you prefer for branding reasons. So if you say to me, James, I would much prefer to use something more realistic sounding, which sounds like me, I'll say to you, okay, go to this web page, hit record, read these sentences, and guide you through the process step by step. And then we take it from there, right? And then we just simply start recording those voiceovers with the AI voice. Or if you don't want to use your voice for some reason, maybe you have an accent which is difficult to understand, we can use one of the built-in voices, the preset voices using AI instead. Okay. We'll also upload all of the completed video scripts into Resemble and produce the audios for you. And again, it just doesn't end there. It's not just a matter of upload the scripts and we're done. As I mentioned, there's so many different bugs and glitches throughout the produced audio you need to fix manually. So we'll do all of that for you. We will come through every single syllable of every single word of every single video to ensure that everything is pronounced properly and sounds natural, just like the examples you just heard, right? We'll make sure that everything sounds as if you were speaking it yourself and nobody will be able to tell that it's AI. Okay. We'll also remove any audio glitches caused by the software and fix any weird timings between sentences, as I mentioned before, to ensure everything flows properly and sounds real. We'll then export all of the completed audio files ready for the next step and review those audio files with you and make any changes until you are 100% happy with everything. So if you say to me, James, video 6, there's a bit of a weird glitch between this sentence about 50 seconds in, could you fix that, please? And here and here and here. Just like when you get a brand new house built for you, you put the tape on the wall, right? Like this needs to be fixed or this needs to be fixed. It's a similar thing here. It's just like review everything and say, hey James, let's could you fix this for me? And we'll take care of everything until you are 100% happy with everything and a whole lot more as well. Basically everything we need to do these voiceovers for you. Okay, and again, take that completely off of your plate. You won't need to worry about recording these voiceovers yourself because we'll just do it all for you. And finally, we'll do the videos themselves. Now we have the scripts and the audios, we can actually get to work on the videos. We will upload all of these scripts and the voiceover audios into Pictory AI for you. We'll then generate all the videos and video stock video clips for each different sentence in the video. We'll then properly align the stock video clips to the voiceover audios and then add subtitles as I showed you earlier on and optimize them for readability. Sometimes it can put like white text on a yellow background, which is really bad and is very unreadable. So we'll fix that for you as well. We'll then go through every video or scene, and there's typically one scene per sentence. So you're looking at like 80 different stock video clips in every single video. checking for bad video clips and replacing them with better ones, and a whole lot more, ensuring a professional outcome instead of having amateur quality stock videos or videos which are too short and looping over weirdly, and so on and so on. Basically, making sure everything flows as professional as possible. And we do that for every single video. So, for example, if there's like 20 videos in your online course, and let's imagine there's 80 different sentences, that would mean there's 80 different stock video clips to review in every video. So 80 times 20, we're looking at like 160. Is that right? Yeah. Like 160, wait, no, 1,600? Yeah, 1,600 different scenes, which is mind-blowing, right? 1,600 different stock video clips. We do all that for you. We'll also export the completed videos as well. So we'll take care of that for you. Basically, hand you a folder with all of the finished videos. Hey, here's your finished online course, all done for you. Okay. And then we review the videos with you and make any changes until you are, once again, 100% happy with everything as well. And a whole lot more. Basically, everything you need to get your own online course given to you. Like literally just, hey, here it is. Here's the finished thing. We've worked on this and we've been asking for your feedback throughout, and it's now finished. Go ahead and make some profit, right? So it takes that completely off of your plate. Now, letting us do everything for you overcomes having to create, record, and edit your online course yourself. Over 200 plus hours of frustrating manual review and edits when using the three-step AI approach we covered earlier, which, as I said, is the best approach there is right now, aside from doing this yourself, of course, right? Which is, again, many, many hours. The overwhelm of trying to piece everything together yourself, which can again take several months if you are busy, and the fear of doing something wrong and not seeing the results that you want. I'm sure you'd much rather get this done right the first time around instead of creating something with AI yourself and then your customers hating you, generating a bad reputation for yourself, and which is kind of difficult to recover from, you know? Also, creating a low quality course your customers end up hating because of the content being too vague, or using the wrong methods to create the scripts. Getting stuck halfway through the process without an expert to help you, which can often happen as well. And it also overcomes kicking your dream life down the road, waiting for the perfect time in your always busy schedule to get started, which, as we know, never happens. You may be thinking about this for a while, right? Like, I need my online course finished, but I can't do that because I'm busy with work. I'm busy with my other commitments in life. You just keep kicking it down the road. And for how long has that happened so far? And how long is it going to take for you to get that course finished realistically? You know, instead of hoping, oh, next week there'll be something, I'll have more time next week or next month, but then something else happens and something else happens and it just keep kicking it down the line. Very rarely will life give us a time where we just have a big block of time we can work on this, right? So we take all that off of your plate altogether. Instead, you'll finally get off the I don't have time hamster wheel. So you can start seeing a profit right away. You can start selling that online course. Now you have it. You will no longer have to spend weeks or months of time, effort, overwhelm, and frustration creating your online course yourself. And you will have a team of experts ensuring everything is done properly to maximize your customers' satisfaction as well. Your only responsibilities in this process are to create the AI accounts. We do this inside of your accounts so you can see what's going on and the progress we're making, but also to make sure that everything that we create for you is owned by you. You own the intellectual property for everything we create for you. That will take about 10 to 15 minutes, and we coach you through that process. It's literally just what's your name, what's your email, enter your account, and another few details as well. Optionally, we can help you to record the voice samples within Resemble, only of course if you want to use your own voice instead of a preset AI voice, and this will take roughly 10 to 20 minutes to record those samples. And then review the work we do for you at the end of each stage of the project, which lasts roughly 15 to 30 minutes in total. Okay, just go through everything and make sure everything is good. Of course, if you want to listen to every single second of every single video, every single audio, read every single word of every single script, it may take a bit longer than this, but if you want to just skim it and have a look through quickly, then that will take you roughly 15 to 30 minutes. So the total work to have your own six-figure potential online course is less than 1 hour compared to several weeks or even months, again, if you have a busy life. Okay, now, best of all, through the entire process, you will get access to me personally and my team of experts via a dedicated Slack channel solely for your project. So I'm not going to stick you into a group filled with a bunch of other clients where you have to compete for attention. It's going to be me versus, well, me and the rest of my team and you in one channel where you can ask as many questions as you like and get those questions answered within just a few working hours. Okay. And we'll give you updates along the way as well and discuss anything else you need as well. This way, you will always be kept in the loop and have all of your questions answered every step of the way. We are here for you to make sure that you are 100% happy with this process. But of course, we wanted to make this a complete no-brainer decision for you, as I know there's a lot of BS in this industry nowadays, so we've included something to put your mind at ease. You are guaranteed to receive your own unique online course, not something copied from somewhere else or something which is low quality or PLR product or something like that. It's going to be completely unique, regardless of your current circumstances, whether you have any knowledge or not, whether you have an audience or not, whether you have done anything like this before or not, whether you have any technical experience, whether that gets you hung up on things in the past or now or not, right? It's totally dependent on your personal circumstances. You will get an online course guaranteed. And here's why. You're 100% covered by our no shenanigans guarantee. Everything we'll be doing for you in this service has been learned through real world experience from creating unique online courses for our other clients. Again, we're not just doing this for the first time. This is something we've been doing for the last 6+ months inside our other services over the last 6+ months, refined and optimized through trial and error, and it's working right now. Despite this, we wanted to provide a safety net for you if you're concerned about the worst case scenario. So before getting started, before enrolling in this service, if this is something you decide to do, we'll both sign a new client agreement, which is a legally binding agreement, promising everything I've just explained to you in writing. So it's not just based off of a webinar or a replay of a webinar. It's based on something which is a legal document, which is a legally binding document. And this, while I wouldn't destroy my business, I've been running since 2008 by providing a bad experience and ending up in jail for fraud, which would be terrible. That would be a terrible life. I'm happy to provide this because I understand it can sometimes be daunting working with someone new. I know in the past, I personally paid other people, other so-called experts, thousands of dollars or even 20K for an agency running my Facebook ads for me, and they did a horrible job and I didn't get my money back. So this kind of guarantees the outcome rather than just hoping things work out well. Okay. Now, this means you are legally guaranteed to receive your own unique online course, no matter your current skill level, expertise, audience size, or any other personal circumstances. You will have your own online course, period. That is guaranteed. Okay. Well, the next question is, well, James, that sounds incredible. Like, that's going to save me so much work, time, effort. What is the investment? Well, first, you've got to really think about what the real value is, right? The real value here is not just about the online course itself, it's in the outcome. Okay, so after you have your own online course, you're suddenly able to start making over $10,000 per month, every month passively by selling that online course. What would this truly mean to you? What would it be like to have that online course selling passively for you at, say, $100, $200, $500, or $1,000 per sale every single day? What would that mean for you, right? Well, to match this life-changing outcome, we were originally thinking about this for the first time, going to charge $10,000 for this done for you service. Okay. And honestly, we would be doing, still doing that at an incredibly cheap price because of the amount of work involved, right? And we've got to pay our team and everything else. However, we love building long-term relationships with our clients. So we wanted to put our best foot forward to hopefully make that happen with you too. Okay. So you won't need to pay 10K today. Now, the regular price for this, if you were to join this any other time, and what we're thinking about charging after this webinar is 5,000 US dollars because of the amount of time, effort, and overall work and hardship for us and my team and wages, everything else, right? It's a lot of work, over 200 hours of work. And we've got to pay people to do that, right? But you will not have to pay that either. Okay. Here it is. So, for the first 3 people only, if this is something you want to take advantage of, you can get in for just $2,997 one time. This is not a recurring fee or a subscription. This is not like a profit share where we steal all of your earnings. It's a one-time flat fee just for your entire online course to be done for you. Just taken off your hands completely. We'll do it all for you. Okay. There is no waiting list, and you can get started immediately in just a few working hours from now, obviously after presenting the session, and the lowest price guaranteed as well. So we're not going to be charging a lower price than this at any point in the future, and that is guaranteed. Okay. In fact, it will be going up to 5K after the first three people for the reasons I mentioned before, because we, already have a lot of overheads paying our team and experts, things like that. So if you are interested in this, go to digitalprosperity.com/DFY course, all lowercase. Okay. So /DFY course. You will find a bunch of options for this. If you want to split this up over multiple payments, you can do so using Klarna, Afterpay, or Affirm, things like that. But typically, you'll find it much easier just to get this out the way and done. And that is how you do it. Now, this is not something you can just go ahead and go to an order form and hit submit on right away. So when you visit that link, which is once again digitalprosperity.com/DFY course, you will see a short form asking where we should send our new client agreement. Okay. So once submitted, this new client agreement will be sent to you automatically by our automated system, even if it's 2 a.m. If you're watching this in the recording or watching this in the UK or something like that, right? You can then read it for yourself in your own time. I'm not going to be here over your shoulder saying, okay, have you read it yet? Have you read it yet? Just take it easy and read it in your own time. It does not contain anything weird, and there is nothing designed to trip you up here, right? It's all plain English, and it just has everything I've just explained to you in writing as promised. That is the guarantee, guaranteeing that you will have this online course delivered to you legally, okay? It will also have a section at the bottom for payment, including an option for a wire transfer if you prefer, and or a debit or credit card, even splitting it across multiple cards if necessary. If this is something you want to do, like you want to put 1K on one card, another 1,000 on another one, and so on and so on, you can do that up to 3 different cards if you want to. And also there's an option for wire transfer, which will be saving us about $200 or so in credit card processing fees, which will be very welcome. That is our preferred option. But ultimately, it's your choice, and we're not going to be picky. Ultimately, we want to see you get the good result and earn your custom, right? So the email will look something like this. It will come from Dropbox Sign, and it will have, a new client agreement, online course, fast track from Digital Prosperity LLC in the subject line. Okay, so it will say new client agreement at the beginning of the subject line. Click that big old blue button that says review and sign. You can read that agreement in your own time and then go ahead and sign at the bottom if this is something you want to take up, if you want to be one of those 3 people to be able to get in. After that, as soon as we receive your signed agreement and payment, we can get started within just a few working hours. There is no waiting list right now. That's why we have the cap of 3 people, because we don't want to overwhelm ourselves with too much work at one time. First, either myself personally or an expert on my team will reach out to you via email with an invitation to a dedicated one-on-one Slack channel where all communication related to your project will happen. Once again, as we mentioned before, you will have a direct access to me, and then we'll send you a short questionnaire with some questions about your niche, any ideas you may have for your course, and so on. Then I'll personally chat with you about everything that you've mentioned in that questionnaire and anything else that you're unsure of or any other questions you may have. Once we've received this questionnaire from you, we can get to work on creating your own unique, high value, and profitable online course right away. Okay, so time is ticking. The special introductory price is for the first 3 people only, because your project will contain over 200 hours of manual work for us. Okay, it's manual work, even though we're using AI to generate the scripts and AI to generate the voice and AI to generate the videos. We still need to tweak everything at every single step in the process, and it's typically over 200 hours of work for us. And we want to ensure that we complete your new online course quickly without spreading ourselves too thin and providing a generally bad experience like some other people do in this industry. After we've enrolled our first 3 new clients at this special price, we won't be offering this price again. Okay, again, we only have a certain amount of profit margin with this low price, and honestly, it's not very much. We're only doing it just to see how this plays out with opening it to our general audience instead of just our existing clients. And we want to create a long-term relationship with you as well, in case at the end of this you want to have our help to sell the course for you, things like that. After all, speaking as one entrepreneur to another, we prefer to charge a higher price to maximize our return on investment from our time spent working on these projects. So be quick, just telling it like it is. We prefer to make more money in the future. So that's why we only have 3 people at this low price. Okay, awesome. So if this is something you are interested in, once again, it is for the first 3 people only. Go ahead and go to digitalprosperity.com in your browser /DFY course. Okay. Now, if you are new to my world and everything I can do for people, here are some quick results that you can expect from going through this process. We have Foti and Amelia making over $14,400 in the last 5 days. We have Brenda. This is her full testimonial that I showed you earlier on. The highlighted part says, I made sales revenue totaling $452,000 from her course, and she made over $8,000 in just 1 week. And it just continues like that, which is pretty crazy. And she says that I'm so excited about the future, knowing that $1 million in sales is not so far away. Thank you, James. So awesome, right? Jason Hornung, he says, I'm at about 10K plus a month using what you helped me to develop, and he now has a 7-figure agency, which is incredible. Nico has over $56,000 in sales from over 1,200 customers of her course. Todd made over $41,500 in just 1 month, and that was on about $2,500 in expenses from other various courses he'd bought as well. So basically, you are getting your own unique, high value professional online course around a topic of your choice, which I can, of course, coach you through if that's something you need help to decide, created for you by myself and my team of experts. A legal agreement to guarantee you receive what we're promising, a one-on-one consulting with me as well, personally through the entire project via Slack, plus any Zoom calls where necessary if that's something you need, and a whole lot more. So once again, time is ticking. The special introductory price is for the first 3 people only, as it requires a lot of work for us. And after this, we won't be offering this at this price again, so be quick. Enroll now. Okay. Now, if you are, sitting on the fence, you may be thinking a few things right now. So I'm going to go through just off the record here. You might have a few questions. So I'm going to go through the things which typically come up when we present offers like this or similar, similar pitches or whatever else, right? So the first one is, I don't have a niche or a course topic yet. Should I figure that out first? The answer is no, because as a part of this process, I will consult with you on exactly what that course topic should be based on your experience so far in your life, any results you've gotten recently across the entirety of your life. For example, if you've lost some weight or you've raised some kids or you've hopefully your own or somebody else's, or you've had a good relationship or you've trained your dog or something like that. Whatever your experience has, we can use that for some ideas and come up with something incredible based on what's working well in the market right now. But if you don't have a course topic yet, that is okay. That is a normal situation. Most of our clients work with us without a course, without an idea for their niche, and we help them to do that, right? Otherwise, you can just delay this for like 6+ months, and then by then you could have been making 10K a month for the last three months, right? So don't wait for the perfect time with choosing your niche first, because we could fix that in a day compared to you fixing that in like a year, right? The next one is, who owns the copyright or intellectual property? This is a great one. So we are pleased to say that you will own all of the intellectual property and copyright for everything we create for you. We have no interest in taking ownership of your course or taking any royalties or anything like that. You own everything. And that is also one of the main reasons we have the agreement. So that is in writing, and you will see that in the agreement when you go ahead and sign up for that as well. Next question, how many videos will be inside the course and how long will each of them last? So as I said before, there's a minimum, but there's no maximum. So we create it in a way that will allow the customer to get to the end goal, and we have the amount of videos required to make that happen. So for example, if it's a small goal, like how to increase your paycheck in your day job. That would be a fairly small course, which may have around 20 videos or so, and each video lasting around 5 minutes. But if it's a larger topic, like how to completely remodel your entire home to be in the style of a modern home, then that may be like 40 videos or 60, for example, and we'll take care of all that for you. So we're not going to create a whole bunch of videos just for the sake of creating videos. We're going to create a course where people aren't going to drop off halfway through because they get bored and overwhelmed. We're going to create something in a way that is the least amount of content required for them to get to the outcome. After all, that's what your customers pay for. They pay for the outcome, not the amount of content, right? Hopefully that makes sense. But bare minimum, you will have 20 videos, with each video being a minimum, on average, of around 5 minutes long. Okay, awesome. So, what price can I sell this course for? And again, this depends on the outcome. It depends on how much content is inside the course and your branding, your positioning, whether you have good testimonials or not. Most of our clients who've done this before start out selling it at 27 US dollars. And as soon as they get more customers and more customers over the next probably 3 to 5 customers, they increase the price to 47, then to 97, then to 200 and beyond. So there's no maximum to this as long as you are providing the value. Okay. It can be used as a foundation for a coaching program if you prefer. If you want to add in some extra things like weekly live calls, you can increase the price to thousands per month. It really doesn't have a ceiling on this. Okay. Do I need a website? The answer is no, because the whole thing in this service is creating a course for you, and that course can be uploaded into any members area platform like Thinkific or any teaching platform like that. So you don't need a website for this specifically. Okay. I would recommend having one at some point in the future, if possible, to sell this in a better way, but this is something you don't need for this specific service. Okay. Also, are there any additional costs? So the only additional costs would be for the tools we use, which I mentioned before. You won't need the ChatGPT, we do that for you, but you will need Resemble.ai, which has it's free to sign up, but they bill you based on the amount of seconds in the audios. So as we're generating this through, it just adds up the seconds of audio that we generate, and typically this works out to about $20 to $30 a month or so, while we're working on this for you. Afterwards, that's it. So it's not like an ongoing fee. It's just 20 or $30. I'd say probably maximum of 100 in total, like worst case scenario. The other thing is Pictory, and again, you don't need to pay for this. We'll do this in our account. So we create the videos for you in our account and send them over to you via a Google Drive folder, and you'll have all the videos inside of there. So that way you're basically only needing about $100 maximum. Okay. And that's, of course, an ongoing thing. It could be like a month from now until you need to pay that. Do you take any royalties or any cuts from the profit? No, everything you earn from this is yours. You own the copyright, you own everything about this. Okay, we just get paid the flat fee for our time and effort, and that's it. Pretty awesome. Is there an upsell after this? I don't want to find out something is held back. The answer is no. I'm not going to make you sign the new client agreement. And then it's like, but wait, there's something else. Like, to make this happen, you need to spend another $50,000. No, that's not going to be the case. Okay. This is just a one-time thing, like a one-time service where you pay the service and that's it. At the end of the service, if you want some help to sell that online course, we will give you a few different options if you want to continue working with us in our coaching program, in our done for you services, things like that. But that's not required whatsoever and is optional. Okay, awesome. So, what happens after I receive the finished course? Do you sell the course for me too? We are already giving you a ton of value and we're not making much money as it is. So we can't possibly sell the course for you as well. However, as I mentioned at the end, we will be giving you additional options if that's something you want help with at the end of the process. Okay. We even have a $27 program, which shows you how to do that. Okay. How long do I have access? So you will have access to this course for life. Like we're not going to take it away from you at any point. And access to the service in general, like if something comes up halfway through, you can't respond to us for some reason, that's totally okay. We can just pause it and resume any point. So we're not going to say, oh, that's it now, you've lost your chance. Like we're here to help you. Don't forget, we guarantee the fact you will have a course, right, with a legally binding agreement. So if you disappear for 6 months and come back, that's totally okay. We've been around for 17 years. We're not going anywhere. Okay. I'm not tech savvy. Can I do this? So yes, the whole point of this is that we're taking all the tech off of your plate, right? We're taking that need to be tech savvy to create the course and record the videos, edit the videos, everything else, taking that completely off your plate. So no, the answer is no. As long as you can sign the agreement, you're good to go. And as long as you can type, you're good to go. Okay. Can I see the agreement before I enroll? Yes, sir and madam. So you go ahead and go to that link I gave you earlier on, which I'll give you shortly again, once again, in a few seconds. But by doing that, by entering your name and your email and phone number, that will send the agreement over to you via those methods. You can go ahead and click the link in the email or the button in the email and view the enrollment agreement before you join. That way, you know everything is up front, everything is transparent, we're not holding anything back from you, and you are fully agreeing to those terms before we get started working together. Okay, perfect. And by the way, I do that because sometimes in the past we've been working with other companies in our own business, and while I was learning this stuff for myself, and they made us pay first, and then they had us sign an agreement after we'd already paid, and it was like not great. The terms of that agreement were like, if you disappear after 1 week, we will not, we will not continue working with you. And it's like, what the hell, right? Life happens. So we make it super transparent that way. Do you offer a payment plan? So we do offer a couple of options. If you live in the US and you have a semi-decent average credit score or above, we can accept Klarna, where you can split this across 4 equal payments, or alternatively over a longer time period of 12 months or 24 months. If you want the link for that, just let me know on the agreement. Just go ahead and check the box for bank transfer, and we'll just go ahead and send you the link for that Klarna option and a couple of other financing options as well. If you want an option which doesn't require a credit check or anything like that, Klarna over the 4 payments will not require a credit check, by the way. That's just totally like a buy now, pay later if you're not familiar with that service. Anything longer than 4 payments will require a credit check, but if you're in the US. If you don't want a credit check or you're outside of the US, go ahead and shoot me an email at support@digitalprosperity.com. That's support@digitalprosperity.com. I'll give you the link later on as well, if you missed that. And we can work something out, depending on what you have right now, of course. Again, we only have 3 spots for this, so we are going to be kind of picky, because it's going to sell out. Everything we put out usually sells out in a couple of days. Without bragging, just the facts. But if you are serious about this, then we can offer that if it's something you're serious about. Finally, can I chat with somebody on a Zoom call about this? If you do want to chat with me personally in this exact same setting, you can chat with me on Zoom about this if you want to. If you have any questions I'm not going to be able to answer on this live call, for example, I'm going to open this up for questions in just a sec. We can answer all the questions live on air. But if there's anything which is kind of personal to you, or anything you want to do a Zoom call with, again, just reach out to our support desk, which I'll give you the link for in a sec, or support@digitalprosperity.com. And we'll go ahead and set that up for you. Okay. We just request that that's within a couple of days. Don't say like, oh, can we have a call in 3 months from now? Because we don't know what's going to happen in 3 months, right? We want to do this within the next few days before the 3 spots fill up. So, as a summary here, as a recap here, one final recap, you are just a few clicks away from your own unique, high value professional online course around a topic of your choice. Can you imagine that? Having your own online course, making sales every single day. And we do all that for you. We create that for you with the help of my team. A legal agreement to guarantee you receive what we're promising, one-on-one consulting through the entire process with me personally, plus any Zoom calls where necessary if you need them. Typically, everyone does this via Slack, but if you do want to jump on a Zoom call, that's okay as well, and a whole lot more as well. So once again, this is the link if you missed it the first couple times. It is digitalprosperity.com/DFY course. Okay, so once again, /DFY course, all lowercase. Make sure you do all the lowercase thing, and that will give you the lowest price guaranteed. You'll get to see the agreement right there before enrolling. Okay, just go ahead, sign the agreement, and we're good to go once we receive the payment. So the clock is ticking. Again, it's only for the first three people only, and it will contain over 200 hours of manual work for us. So we want to make sure that we don't spread ourselves too thin. After we've enrolled our first three new clients at this special introductory price, we won't be offering this price again because we want to maximize our return on investment. So if you need more time, like if you're serious about joining, but you need a few more days to move things around or whatever, that is totally okay. We can hold a spot for you just out of goodwill, right? Just let us know by sending an email to that email address on the screen right there. Don't try and click it, otherwise it'll pause the replay if you're watching the replay, or like pause Zoom if you're watching on Zoom live. But support at digitalprosperity.com, and then we'll see what we can do to help you, of course, depending on your circumstances. Like, for example, if you say, I only have $10, then we're probably not going to be able to help you. But if you say, I can do the whole thing, I just need 3 days to move money around, that's totally okay, for example. Right? Let us know and we'll see what we can do. Otherwise, keep an eye on your email inbox and see how many places in this offer are left. So, question time. If you do have any questions, remember I am presenting this live with you. Ask me in the chat box right now, which of course now works, right? That's going to be a running joke, I think, moving forward. So, if you have a more private question you prefer not for me to not answer live in front of everybody, that's okay. Feel free to open a chat. Support tickets at support at digitalprosperity.com. I'm so excited about this. Then we'll get back to you within 24 hours. We can even set up a Zoom call if you prefer. Once again, just open a support ticket or email us at support at digitalprosperity.com instead of support dot. Okay. So yeah, either way, find a support ticket or email, let us know. Just ask us. It's time to answer any questions you may have. So do you have any questions about enrolling into the service, or do you have any questions about creating content using the three-step AI method I gave you earlier on in this free training? Do you have anything about, the scripts, the voiceovers, the videos, anything like that? Let me know. I'm always happy to help you right now. I'm going to look at the chat. So, scrolling down here, definitely incredible. Robbie says, wow, 100% unsolicited endorsement. I'm currently a customer of James and his team on a different project. They know their stuff. They are great to work with. And most of all, they deliver. Thank you so much for that, Robbie. I really appreciate the kind of words. You're awesome. And we love working with you too. So Kay says, but what about marketing and the course platform? Do we have to pay a bit more to get that help? If so, how much? So yeah, marketing, as I mentioned, we can't sell the course for you as well because that would be beyond the scope of the service, right? We can't spend 200 plus hours of our time and sell your course for you and guarantee sales for just 5K. It's like I want to buy a car, but I only have $20, right? It's beyond the scope, right? So if you want to do the marketing, we do provide a couple of options for you at the end. The first one is to enroll into our $27 entry level course, which shows you exactly how to do the marketing. And that takes that off your mind. Like, how do I do that? It's just step one, step two, step three, do this, build your audience from scratch, how to sell it passively, everything in between. $27, right? There's also a coaching program if you need more support through the entire process. That is currently $3,997, but we could hook you up with an existing customer discount, bringing that down to just $1,997. But again, that is totally optional. Again, payment plans exist for that as well. Alternatively, if you just want to take care of, have all that taken care of for you as well, we also have spots coming available in the next few weeks for our ultimate done for you service, where we basically guarantee that we'll make $100,000 in profit for you and we'll take care of all of the marketing for you as well. Okay, so you don't need to do anything for that either. That is not cheap, as you can imagine. We're basically building the business for you and handing you the results. But if that's something you need, that's an option as well. So ranging from 27 to 12,000 and beyond, let us know. That's something we can offer. In terms of the course platform, what you upload it to is completely your choice. It doesn't really matter that much. We like Thinkific, which is currently, from memory, I think it's like $40 a month or something, to be able to host that course. Worst case scenario, you can do this for free in WordPress. It's really up to you. We prefer Thinkific because it engages the student a lot better. Like it keeps them interested in the course, it tracks their progress, and many other features which are super handy as well. Um, yeah, so hopefully that answers that question, Kay. Does that make sense? Kay, excellent. Thanks, very reasonable. I totally agree. Especially when you think of this as like compared to an offline business, they have overheads where they're paying employees, they're paying for the premises of the place that they're renting out, or their mortgage for their premises, or they're paying for inventory and research and development costs or R&D costs and advertising and everything else. And before they end the month, before they even begin the month, they're already like $5,000 or $10,000 in the hole every month. And you think, well, what a world we live in to be able to have a profitable online business from anywhere online where you're helping people for 3K, right? It's like, what a world we live in. So yeah, that's what I love about this. Um, so sorry I didn't get your reply about providing a replay, says Jane. Yeah, so we'll be giving you the replay later this week, probably on Friday, depending on how good of a response we get from this and like the feedback we get from you guys and afterwards as well and everything else. We might be doing another session tomorrow. Most likely I'll be giving you the replay on Friday or tomorrow, but I'll be sending you that via the email newsletter as usual. And it will say replay in big capital letters in the subject line if you can't find it. Okay. Ben says, oddly, another unsolicited endorsement. James and his team are working with me on another service and have been super understanding, patient, and helpful. I'm excited to know how many of the steps I tried on my own can be done for new members to get results faster. Hi, James. Thank you so much for the kind words, Ben. I am like blushing here. Thank you so much, Ben. Really appreciate the kind words, and hi to you too. Hope everything is well. Thank you so much for the kind words. Really appreciate it, and you as well. Jane says, thanks, James. No worries. I'm not sure if you guys can see the chat box that I'm looking at right now. Let me see if I can. No, you just see a big box where the chat box is. So let me see if I can, just so you don't think I'm making this up, right? If I come out of this and then I know some people like to make this stuff up. So if we open the chat box and then I take a screenshot. So this is the first one here. There we go. So can you see that? Show webinar. There we go. So that is a screenshot of the first unsolicited testimonial I read out. Just so you know, I'm not making this stuff up. And then we have the second one from Ben over, yeah, 1 second, over there. So those are completely unsolicited, as you can see. Just in the chat box, you guys are responding in. So thank you for those kind words, both of you guys, and everyone else that has said nice things as well. Honestly, I don't know what to say. I'm kind of taken aback by the kindness. Thank you. So that is everything. That's everything I wanted to share with you in this live session. I've given you the 3 steps to make your own online course from scratch, not even doing any of the recording yourself, not even creating any slides yourself. You're just literally using AI to do that stuff for you. And yes, there are some things you need to do at the end, but it is still often much faster and more convenient than having to sit in front of your laptop recording these videos yourself and editing everything yourself and so on. And if you do want any of that help with, having this completely taken off of your plate, or us creating that online course for you entirely, we will just be able to do that for you inside our done for you /done for you course over there at that link on the screen. And that is for our online course fast track service, which again is only available for the first 3 people at that price. I can't, my phone's on airplane mode, so I don't get distracted while I'm presenting this to you. But I don't know how many places are left, but typically these places do sell out pretty quickly. So if you are interested, I'd recommend getting that signed agreement over to us as fast as possible, even if you need a couple of days or whatever to get things moved around to be able to make that payment. That's okay. I'd rather have the signed agreement from you to lock in that place, and that way your price is kind of locked in, right? And also in the agreement, it does say within X amount of days. I forget now, but it gives you a time frame to make the payment, which is usually pretty flexible as well. So we're here to help you. We're looking forward to working with you. I'm personally looking forward to chatting with you if you decide to move forward with that. Otherwise, I really hope you've enjoyed this session. I really love helping people out just to see people get these incredible life-changing results as well, and basically making it a win-win for everybody, right? So hopefully you've enjoyed it. Hopefully you found a ton of value here. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us at our support desk right there. Or alternatively, our email is support@digitalprosperity.com. All right, go ahead and reach out if you need to. Otherwise, I'll speak to you very soon. Have a great day. Bye bye.